slaves and hit those buttons, or I'll send ice.
Hold up, grab my soda cause I told you I'm colder than hell. I ain't buying what you sell, it don't ring my bell. Unless it's got the smell, you know, like grape pape. We ain't talking vapes or the color of drapes. Or a gorilla in a cape is the good shit. Just one hit, you so lit, you fall into a bit, non-bit. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky, hero and junkie, obliteration of the carnation with gross castration, skewed citations by your intimation. Get real, young man, there's only one stand. You can't stand a suntan, how you gonna live on the land? Obliteration of the carnation with gross castration in skewed citations by your intimations. I'm a truth in rotation, you're a cheap imitation. Dark said hums, 808s make the ground shake. Cold as the grave, every word's a landquake. You're a flicker in a cipher, I'm the flame that won't fade. Step into the night where the shadows are made. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky, hero and junkie. I'm gonna click another hit of this good shit, and I'm already it, so take over, it's been non-bit.
Thank you for joining us at Personality Inventory Mockumentary Productions.
And greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There is a PayPal link down there for anybody who wants to share some love. Always appreciated. We could really use it here. I've got my filings that I've got going out today. I want to go over it real quick. First of all, got the, let's do this. Got the certified green return receipt things going on with a couple of things that we've already sent. And pretty much everything we've got going out today, except for what we're filing into the court, is going out certified. But even what we're going to file into the court is going to be sent certified to respective parties. Sure I don't get it all screwed up here. First of all, we've got a packet going to the court itself. Like I said, it's going to get filed. And then we've got a packet going to attention Lena Height District Court Administrator, Blackhawk County Courthouse, and it's urgent civil rights action in regards to case number. And she is the district manager, so she gets a copy because she's one of the ones that has duties under Iowa Code to maintain oversight of what's going on as far as process and who's handling what. Like I said, the presiding judge hasn't stepped in and handed down the summary judgment that she was supposed to on the day of the hearing, and instead took it under advisement, which initiates an investigation by the chief judge. Well, the chief judge hasn't responded either, and all the paperwork has gone to anybody but the presiding magistrate. And so they're doing a shuffle to avoid the accountability of the plaintiff and now their own accountability. So the first one I've got here is a cover letter to the property manager giving them notice of all my claims I'm putting out here. They're going to get a copy of everything for the purposes of notice so that they know what's going on. First duty in law is legal notice, and that's that Matthew 18 verses 15 through 20 that I've been telling everybody about. Go to your brother in private if you have aught with him, and if he hears you, you have gained your brother. If he does not hear you, then you're supposed to go to a second witness. So I went to the property manager as second witness, and they did not hear me, and then we're supposed to go to the court. So that's where we're at. We're forward with 2 witnesses in the court. And so they get a cover letter with copies of everything I'm sending out today. And one is an executive summary for the Institute for Justice. And that's where the is going to attention certain people for the Center for Judicial Engagement as far as it relates to accountability and immunities. So we're going after these guys for their own 14th Amendment violations. Then we got the Iowa complaint for Iowa Office of Civil Rights. And that's, of course, based on the housing discrimination by the plaintiff. And then we've got one for the formal complaint to HUD, again, against the plaintiff. The first one for the Institute for Justice was the discretionary review for constitutional claims against the magistrates and all the court shuffle and everything. And those 2 are for the complaints against the plaintiff. Then we've got notice of appeal to the Iowa Supreme Court for discretionary review. And that's along with an application to defer costs and an affidavit. So that one's going out. And again, these are all going out certified. And then the one to the Supreme Court gets a self-addressed stamped envelope because we're going to send them 2 copies of the top sheet. We're going to send them their packet, and then we're going to send them an extra copy of the top sheet so that they can time, date, and stamp it and send us back a copy, because we're sending the originals in this blue ink signature, original blue ink signature. And we use blue ink to show that it's the original, not black ink, because sometimes black ink can be construed as copied because they can't see real good. But if it's colored in blue, you know it's an original because copying machines copy in black when you do black and white copies. Then we've got 2 to the clerk, and we're sending these to the head clerk. In regards to this situation, we're sending them certified because so far the clerks have negated their duties as well. Because the duties of the clerk is to make sure that the record has integrity. In other words, when these judges are shuffling things around, it's the clerk's duty as well, as a matter of oversight of the record, to make sure that that record has integrity. That means they have to have certain knowledge and competencies when it comes to filing the documents that are being put forth before them, such as knowing that if a plaintiff comes into equity with dirty hands and then wants to file a voluntary dismissal, they're supposed to have some kind of red flag says, whoa, wait a minute, this hearing's already been had. And since it was diverted and the judge has it under advisement, then this plaintiff can't enter a dismissal. See, they're supposed to know the rules and process and law just as much, if not more so, than myself, a dumb idiot pro se defendant. So the first one we have going out, like I said, we ordered the transcripts. We had to pay $200 for the transcripts. We did not have to pay for the appeal at the district court level because they denied that motion, saying that it was dismissed, a final dismissal, and that the appeal was moot. And that was their decision on dismissal with costs to the defendant, which is in violation of state law. So we're appealing that to the Supreme Court of Iowa, and they want a $150 filing fee. So we put in an application for deferment of costs and an affidavit there too. We'll see how that goes. So that's this one here is going to the clerk in regards to the transcripts that we've already ordered. We're waiting for those. This here is a request for original audio recording, because in our situation, like I said, when we first started this, we put in a request for a court recorder. That request was subsequently denied. And when we got to the hearing, the magistrate said that she would be recording it on her own personal recording device. So we're going to request that recording because it shouldn't be in the judge's hand. It should be in the clerk's hand as a matter of preserving that record and the integrity of the record. See, when you know their duties and you can hold them to them, that's what you do. So we've got a request for recording, for the audio recording, to be handed over to the clerk to make sure that the clerk has possession of that. Then we have the notice of appeal to the district court, and that too goes to the clerk so that they know that anything else from here on out is out of their hands. It's now being moved to the district court or to the Supreme Court. So we got all those, and that's I think there's 7 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7 of them. So we got 7 of them that we got to send out certified. One's a complaint to the HUD, one's a complaint to the IOCR, Iowa Office on Civil Rights, and then one to the Institute for Justice as far as the judicial magistrate shuffle here. And then we've got one for the appeal. We've got a notice to the court clerk for the appeal. We've got a request for audio hearing or audio recording, and then of course the copy of everything to the property manager. So the Blackhawk County Court is going to get a notice of filing certified transcripts. And that's going to also have the some supplemental notes in there. I read that the other day. And then we've got the request for original audio recording. We've got a notice of the appeal with a copy of that appeal and a copy of the Institute for Justice constitutional challenge going out to be filed into the court. And then, of course, like I said, the court administrator is going to get a copy of all those as well. So I imagine 7 of those at anywhere from $5 to $15 to send out certified return receipt. Going to be about $75, I imagine. So another one of those things where trying to do everything with a limited budget, and it gets pretty rough. So again, if anybody can help, there's a PayPal link down there. And I'll be doing an update on this as soon as we hear back. As we see, I did get a green return receipt back from the Blackhawk County Court when I addressed the chief judge as to the improprieties. And then all of a sudden, we got the dismissal. And then this came right after we got that dismissal, which was an errored dismissal. Like I said, they put in a final judgment, a final dismissal despite my request for handing down the merits of the case. In their magistrate shuffle, nobody wanted to pay attention to my paperwork and see that they had a strict statutory duty to do so, and voluntarily dismissed a case that was a 12B failure to file a claim upon which relief could be granted because they came with dirty hands. The court is not supposed to allow that in any sense of the way, and that is a absolute violation of their rules, their ethics, and the process that's due. Every last one of these people has been violating the due process. Every last thing that they've entered has been a procedural legal error. And so hopefully we'll be able to get this all fixed at one point in time or another. But again, it begs me to question, who in this system has the integrity to hold the record to its integrity and make sure it's accurate? If so far I've gone through 5 judges, the district manager, the court manager, administrator, all these clerks that I've been dealing with, the plaintiff, and not one has done anything in good faith yet. Not one. If they'd have been doing things in good faith, they'd have been knowing that the memorandum supplemental law that I first put in on the 29th, letting them know, hey, on the 26th, I noticed you took it under advisement. Come to find out, you were supposed to automatically hand down a summary judgment for the plaintiff for the defendant, because the plaintiff admitted in, on, and for the record that they violated strict statutory duty. It should have been over at that time. Instead, you took it under advisement and put it out for at least a week. When you did so, and we were forced to move, now being known as a constructive eviction, you then turned around and allowed the plaintiff with dirty hands to enter a voluntary dismissal and consented to it despite your strict statutory duties and Iowa rules of civil procedure that said you are not allowed to do so, that the plaintiff was in fact barred from entering a voluntary dismissal now. So we'll see how it works. And like I said, I'll keep everybody up to date. There's a PayPal link if you can help. And remember, folks, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Be blessed. I love y'all, and we'll see you next time.